Hey everybody, Chris Turk with Up North Air Gunners.
So I'm super excited today to tell you about something that I've been field testing for the last couple of months, and this is the FX Chronograph for archery equipment, specifically bows. And what I love about using this device, obviously when you're tuning your bow, you really want to know like what the velocity is as compared to the IBO or the ATA number that's for your archery equipment. But specifically, as I'm switching to different sized broadheads or going from like an aluminum to a carbon fiber shaft on an arrow, to know what that velocity is as the end result has been great. But for me, also using this as a training device to make sure I'm getting the same anchor point and release point shot to shot and keeping those velocities exactly the same.
292.
Super critical, especially when you're pushing your archery shots out past like 20 yards. Those deviations in velocity will really kind of throw things off on your arrow.
And yes, I know, I'm probably going for a little bit of style points with my release. 292, baby. Yeah. So you just download the FX app for the chronograph, and what's great about it is typically we've been using this with our air guns where that velocity is going anywhere from, let's say, 600 up to 1,000 feet per second. But with bows, you're definitely going to be wanting in that like 200 to 400 feet per second range. So there's a setting inside the app. You just select that, and that's going to pick up the chronograph so it knows that it's going to be detecting an arrow velocity. All right, there it is, everybody. The FX Chronograph for bows and archery equipment.
So next up, we got the FX Airguns Crown with the Aero Kit, and this right here is probably one of the most versatile air guns I have probably ever shot. And what I mean by that is the FX Crown platform in a rifle configuration, and here in this photo I've got it with the Saber Tactical chassis, and you can take this gun and you can drop it all the way down to a 177 barrel kit, 22, 25, 30 cal. Then you can throw an Aero Kit into this thing. And the reason why I'm saying it's probably the most versatile air gun that I have, you can take it from a backyard plinker in 177, take it all the way up to the FX Aero Kit and be taking out 200-pound deer. So in my velocity testing with this thing, we were shooting field tips right around 302, 303 feet per second. And we did some penetration testing with the interlock shapeshifter broadheads, and this thing is absolutely wicked. So after all my testing, I felt comfortable. It's basically the exact same foot-pounds of energy as my compound bow. So we had this great opportunity to head to the Ultimate Whitetails Ranch. I was able to take my uncle, and let's check out some accuracy testing, and so getting my uncle up to speed on how to use this awesome tool. So what are we doing here? It looks like you're milking the arrow, but what are you, is it burping it? We're burping the arrow.
Burping the arrow.
All right, so that's actually one thing to remember is when you push it down on that rail, get a little bit of air caught inside. So you want to just kind of push it down a couple times so it's completely seated. Super critical. You have one vein straight up and down, so that way the other veins are not hitting that bottle. All right, 20 yards, let her fly. All right, there you go. Let's go check it out. So the Hawk scope is calibrated for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60 yards. So we got a pretty decent group going here. What's great about this is I like seeing that kind of penetration, so we know at 20 yards, we'll be getting both longs there, so.
All three of those would be kill shots.
Oh yeah, that's a dead deer. I mean the vital zone, longs on a deer is right there, so you're good. But all right, let's pull those out and back it up to 30 and see what we're doing. All right, so here we are at 30 yards. All right, send it. Nice, drilled it. So now that we had Tom comfortable on the FX Crown Aero Kit, we headed back out to our hunting stand, and I'll tell you what, Ultimate Whitetails Ranch is literally the most pampered hunting I have ever been on. So we rode around everywhere in side-by-sides, absolutely beautiful blinds, fantastic cooking, fantastic meals. So we got up into the blind, and I tell you what, we were there right in the middle of the rut, and it was absolutely awesome watching bucks chasing does and all the vocalization and just rutting activity, being able to see that so frequently in a ranch environment like this. We had an opportunity just to learn so much more about deer activity So after a couple hours of sitting and throwing out a couple grunt calls, we had some bucks come in, a lot of chasing activity going on right in the middle of the rut. Absolutely awesome to see this. And we finally had a huge 11-point buck coming right at us. And I was talking to Tom. He's never archery hunted before. We talked a lot about not taking these quartering to, and definitely not a straight on shot. So we had him wait until that deer turned broadside. So right before he pulled that trigger, I saw that buck take a step back and my heart absolutely dropped. That actually has happened to me, that exact same shot angle with my crossbow a couple years ago. And I tell you what, we had to track that doe quite some time. So I knew that penetration wasn't going to be really through both lungs, probably got into one lung. So I'm super proud of Tom, because in all of our practicing, we were just arrow on top of arrow. I mean, we were Robin Hooding arrows when he was practicing, and he really went for it. We really went into that Vital V. He was going for the heart shot. So one of the things that we talked about as we were practicing on the bag was the concept of the Vital V shot placement on a deer. And growing up, my dad called it the Vital V. It's basically the V shape that the leg makes up at the joints and into the scapula. And so when the deer is standing there straight up and down, it basically makes a V. And so if you can lace a shot with a shotgun, a rifle, or a big bore air gun inside that V, even if you hit the scapula or hit the bone, you're going to blast through it and that deer is going to go down. Now with archery, I was always taught to stay a little bit behind that Vital V. So here's a good example from the buck that I got earlier this season. And if you watch as the buck is walking forward, notice when the leg is back, you definitely do not want to take that shot, basically because he is covering up a lot of the lung and definitely the heart with that elbow, and the scapula is kind of collapsed in a tighter V. But when it steps forward, notice how it opens up that entire vitals area right there in the armpit. So that would be an okay shot, but ideally you really want them to stop and kind of be in a completely stationary, not moving position to take that shot, just like I did here. So you'll notice with my shot placement on this one, I'm still not inside that Vital V. I'm still pretty much right in line with the elbow of that nearest leg. And you really, even this might even be cheating forward just a little bit. Typically I might even want to come up and kind of back a little bit from that leg, just in case if he ducked or if he moved forward, now you're just right into the bone. So even kind of up and to the left a little bit on this shot would pretty much guarantee a double lung shot. And this shot right here is a prime example of where going for that Vital V shot, it's a little bit of a gamble. So yeah. If you look at where these crosshairs are overlaid on the deer before it took the step, and then right after it took the step and he pulled the trigger, if that leg would have stayed forward, he would have just laced the heart perfectly with the accuracy of the FX Crown. But hey, so yeah, this is hunting and things happen. So even with the crazy accuracy of the FX Airguns, you still have to cheat back a little bit with archery shots like this. So even with crossbows or compound bows or air gun shooting arrows, cheating back a little bit behind that Vital V is super critical.
Right here. He moved a little back.
Yeah,
just before I shot.
saw him like right
second.
Yep, right before you shot, he moved that leg back a little bit.
So I got him.
I think he hit that scapula, but let's just walk this edge a little bit, see if we can get any blood. But probably head back, have some dinner. Give us some time. So let's just check this edge real quick. Okay.
So we found the tracks where it entered into the woods, and then we also found just a little bit of blood right on the edge, but when in doubt, always back out.
All right, back out. Have some dinner. Come back later with the thermals, flashlights, get the rest of the guys. Get it done. Let's go eat.
So we went back to the ranch, had the most fabulous venison dinner, and we actually had venison for every single meal that we were there. I don't think Tom ate a single bite. He was pacing back and forth the whole time, waiting for us to head back out, but we just definitely wanted to give that deer some time. We didn't want to push it, so we headed back out and we started finding just little bits of drops of blood here and there, but really not a lot. All right, so we were up in the stand, about 250 yards up that way, working our way down the ridge. Just getting little, just teeny tiny drops here and there. I don't even know if you can see that or not. A little bit there.
Got a dead deer right here?
Yeah! Hey Tom, got a deer, bud.
Yep. Yeah, them horns, Tom.
Yeah, let's show us the deer, buddy. Hey Tom, what'd you get him with, buddy?
FX Airguns Crown.
Yeah, buddy, with the Aero Kit. Nice deer, man. Congratulations.
Way cool. Thank you.
What do you think, buddy?
Greatest deer I've ever shot, and it's like the most exciting afternoon I think you'll ever have.
You're gonna cry, aren't you?
It's absolutely
Good tracking, Kyle. I mean, we were, God, probably a quarter mile up here just working our way through that tree line.
I really want to thank these guys too.
Yeah.
Yes, thank you guys for coming and hunting with us.
All right, so there it is, everybody. Literally the bucks of our lives with the FX Crown Mark II. Tom, did you have fun?
What a blast. It's a dream come true, I'm telling you.
Dude, ultimate whitetails. I'll tell you what, you know, this ranch is absolutely beautiful. I have learned so much about deer behavior. I probably packed 5 years of deer hunting experience into like a 2-day hunt. All the vocalization we were hearing, grunts, bleats, chasing. I mean, Tom, what was your favorite part of the whole thing?
The actual shot, I think. Yeah, when you finally, you know, you wait a while and you get that shot, and the excitement is, and you know, when you stick them and know you got them,
that's awesome.
That's pretty cool.
Cool. So make sure you check out my hunt where we bagged this 9-pointer on American Airgunner. So I'm not going to share all the details with you, but I will tell you it was a pretty epic hunt and we went fletching deep on this deer. That's all I can tell you, but you definitely need to check that out next season on the American Airgunner TV show. It's going to be absolutely awesome. Thanks for joining us. Take care.